Good morning, business owners and leaders. Are you ready to get the second wave of PPP and EIDL? By the way, my name is Alan Humaya. I'm accountant and tax professional for Waiko Tax. Today, we will give you the tax and bookkeeping tips on your PPP loans, and this will last only for 15 minutes. 10 minutes 10-minute case study and 5-minute question and answers. If you have any question, you can type or comment below on our chat or live chat. And I will be co hosted by another accountant, a tax professional, and bookkeeping and payroll expert. On top of that, he works with the multiple business owners under PPP and EIDL loans. No other than Mr. Juan Turbiates. I'm sorry, Juan.
Hi,
It's
good
morning in
morning.
San Francisco.
It's okay. Let me correct it. My name is Juan Turubiartes. I'm glad that you guys are here. Let's go ahead and chat about these new opportunities that are available for other business owners. A lot of financial opportunities, so there is enough capital to be open, maintain operations going through this current pandemic. Let's go ahead and chat over some tips on how to acquire them and how to use them properly. More than excited for another week of doing so. So, again, welcome. Good morning to all of you. You're in the East or the West Coast. Let's go ahead and chat over some tips of this.
Thanks, Juan. Well, it's good to see you again. Okay, let's dive into it. One of our valued client, I mentioned this last week that about the case, and then this is the case that we're going to discuss today. So one of our valued client is a graphic shop owner. She wants to know the tax implications of PPP loans on her business return. Or last year maybe she got a PPP loan, that is the first wave, and then she wants to know the tax implication of this on her 2020 business return. So question, is the forgiven PPP deductible? What is the latest provisions?
Okay, so that's a very good question. There is, of course, a lot of business owners, us business owners that have questions that are wondering what are the new regulations, the laws over this new previous COVID relief bill that was just passed last month. Now, according to this bill, they have made some changes to what can be forgivable and also, of course, what can still be used as a tax deduction when you file your business income tax. So according to these, you can now use the same expenses that you used for your loan to be forgiven as a tax deduction. Before, in the CARES Act, you only can use these expenses for one or the other. Let's say if you use them as an expense so you can qualify for your loan to be forgiven, then you can go. Then you cannot use those same expenses as a tax deduction. Now they have been able to override this, correct this. So now you can use that same tax expense to use it as an expense for your loan to be forgiven, and at the same time use it for your income tax, so you can use it as a tax deduction. Now, also keep in mind that if you were able to apply early on for the economic injury disaster loan advance, you were very fortunate because these funds were exhausted rather quickly. You honestly had to apply for this grant advance very early on in a very early stage of the EIDL. So if you were able to receive it, that was good for you. And also, you don't have to use it as any sort of business income when you file this income tax. It is not considered a business income because it's not an income that you were able to obtain with the operations of your business. So it really is, like I said, a grant, free money. Use it for capital for your business, let's say to maintain operations, maybe expand it, to use it for some past bills. I know that there was a big decrease in the sales, gross income. So you were very fortunate. And also, if you weren't fortunate enough to receive it at the very start, there is still some good news coming in because there is going to be some funds with this new COVID relief bill that are actually going to be used just as a business advance on this loan. So as soon as that SBA releases these new advance money and the portal is updated, you can go ahead and actually make this application for your business. So I encourage you always to keep an eye open. We will also be keeping an eye open, be giving out an announcement whenever this portal is updated. So this grant can also be obtained. There is an application that has to be made for this grant in the updated portal that is soon to come to the SBA original page. So just keep an eye out, let's say for an announcement from us, or if you're able to check by yourself, go ahead and do so because, again, as soon as these funds are released, I can already anticipate that they're going to be exhausted really rapidly as well. So always be alert on that. Also, there was a lot of questioning whether the PPP forgiven loan had to be included as a business income when you file taxes because it is in the end income or at least some money, some funds that were able to be obtained and deposited to the bank and doesn't have to be paid back on this loan. So according to the COVID relief bill, the income, or I'm sorry, the funds that you were able to obtain with this loan and they were forgivable, they were forgiven, they don't have to be included as gross income or business income when you file income tax. So you will not be taxed on the PPP forgiven loan nor on the economic injury disaster loan advance. That's just very good news for the business owners and businesses that were able to obtain these funds. So always keep that in mind. Make sure that you don't include it in your business return because you don't want to be taxed on money that doesn't have to be necessarily taxed. As a tax expert, I always do my very best for my clients, our clients, so they can go ahead and keep those funds so they can reinvest it on their business, maybe use it for their personal use. But whatever you have to pay tax on, pay tax on. I'm not saying don't pay tax on it, but whatever you don't have to pay tax on, whatever is given to you as tax-free money, don't pay taxes on it. The government, the SBA, they want to give this money to you and your business so you can have it, keep it as your fund so you can use it for your business. It's always very important. Use it properly, especially the SBA PPP. Use it properly so it can be forgiven and you don't have to pay this loan back. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the main goal of this PPP. Also, if you have any questions regarding the new PPP rules and regulations, the new EIDL rules and regulations, those funds should be already released. I had read in the original SBA website that they will be released by this week or the end of this week. So again, always be alert when the funds are already going to be dispersed. You want to be the very first in line. You don't want to be at the very end because if you're at the very end and by the time it gets to you, there's a chance that the funds may be already exhausted, especially on that advance. So I encourage you always keep an eye out because those funds are going to come and they're going to leave quicker.
Great tips, Juan. Quick question, Juan, or a quick explanation for our members for today or whoever listening that they can use a simple guidelines, the 60/40/25 rule. Can you explain a little bit of this?
Yes, definitely. So the 60/40/25 rule, that is mostly pertain to the PPP, how you can get it forgiven. Always keep in mind, in order for you to be eligible to have this loan forgiven, 60% of the PPP loan has to be used for payroll and payroll costs, payroll related costs. What that means is salaries, wages, insurance that is covered by the employer for the employees, all of that, at least 60% of your loan, PPP loan, has to be used for payroll. That is just a magic
Mm-hmm.
number. Why? Because the PPP loan, its purpose is for the business to keep the employees on the payroll so they don't have to go into the unemployment and anything like that, so they can keep a job. That is the main focus of the PPP loan. So as long as you use it for the funds, at least 60% of them for payroll, you will be eligible to submit this forgiveness application. The other 40% can be used for other operating costs. It can be for rent, for lease of the business's building, also other utilities, operating expenses. That's where the other 40% can be used. So always keep in mind 60/40, 60% payroll at least. That's where the funds have to be used. You can use more than 60. You may even use a whole 100% of the loan just for employees. So always keep that in mind. That's how you have to use at least the PPP money. So it can be forgiven. You don't have to pay it back. You don't have to worry about those monthly payments 1 year from now once you receive this loan. So always keep that in mind.
Yes. Also, Juan, I heard that supplies like masks and sanitizers, you can also add this as additional or other covered costs, right?
Yes, any expenses that you incur in order to keep, let's say, sanitation, keep everything clean, especially where it comes to having a safe environment for the employees or for the clients to come in, that is where all of these expenses can be used. There has even been allowance for, let's say, a restaurant or a business to make like a little drive-through for the safety of the employees and the customers.
Right.
So there's less interaction, less risk of being exposed to any illness. That is even where you can use these funds as long as they're used for your business, either for the operating expenses or even other related expenses in order to be risk free or to reduce the risk of being ill. That is where these expenses can be used. So always keep that in mind. There's a few more expenses that you can use the PPP funds at. So if you have any questions, I always encourage you to reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist you, to give you a few tips, some information of where you and your business can benefit from.
That's right. Thanks, Juan. Okay, I think if we have any question, you can still write on the comments, but we still have few minutes, I believe. So we're waiting if there's any questions from our members. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, it's I'm so excited that there's another wave. And then Juan, last question, since we still have like a few minutes. Do you think when will be the last deadline or last day to submit? Because I believe it started I think the SBA launched on 11 this month, 11th January. Is that right?
There are some applications that can already be submitted to a lender, let's say your personal or your business bank. There's other lenders that are available. These applications can be submitted, but there hasn't been a disbursement of that second wave yet. Especially,
Oh, so
sorry,
it's not yet released.
on the case of the economic injury loan, the SBA portal has not been updated. It will soon. That's pertaining to the advanced grant. Now, on the PPP, no disbursements yet, but applications have been accepted already by lenders. There is always, I want to say, if I'm going to compare it to the very first wave, I want to say 2 weeks is the max where you want to wait. The sooner that you turn in these applications, the better. The PPP and the EIDL loan and the advanced grant. Why? Because at least comparing it to the first wave, within 2 weeks, the free money of the grant was already exhausted. There was a lot of applications, initial applications that were turned in. I want to say even more than were expected. That's why there was a slight delay, and just the funds were exhausted very quickly. Again, this second wave, pretty much, I want to say that a large, almost 95 to 100% of the businesses that were able to apply initially can still apply for the second wave. So you can already imagine it's going to be very similar within 2 weeks that these funds are going to be available. At least submit your application, fill it out properly and submit it, because as soon as you have the application turned in correctly, there is a greater chance for you to receive some of these free funds. Again, comparing it to last, the very first wave, within 2 weeks, these funds were already gone. So I just want to encourage every business owner. If you have questions, we are here to help you and submit these funds so you and your business have these free money already for your business. That's what I want to always encourage you.
Okay, thanks, Juan. Guys, I hope you learned something today. If you have more question, yeah, feel free to reach out because I know you have like specific question. Reach out to us so we can address your question, and then since it is 2020 until January 31st, Waiko Tax is giving 20% off on your 1040 tax filing once you avail our bookkeeping service for your PPPP. Waiko Tax is an all year round and all in one tax payroll and bookkeeping service solution and has been awarded as 2018 SBA Minority Business of the Year. So, stay tuned next week, same time and same day, Thursday, and we will go over what are the documents that you need to have for the second wave of PPP. And then for more questions, please feel to message us today. Okay, thank you so much for your time today, Juan, and I hope to see you again. By the way, I am Alan Humaya and tax professional here in Waiko Tax. Here in Waiko Tax, you deserve the max. Stay safe, everyone.